They want more time to look at this, so perhaps we can table this and put it on the next meeting and maybe put it to a vote then to accept the application, the amended application. Is that something?
Yeah,
Sir.
that's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, I would almost
I agree.
All right,
do that so we can at least take a look at it, and when we come back, we can make our recommendations.
okay, is there a motion on the floor for amendment?
Yeah, I'd like to make that motion was it floor this
Table it.
for now?
Table.
Table it?
A second.
All right, it's been motion and second to table the review of the A&P funding application and recipient package. Are there any discussion? If there's no discussion, roll call, please.
Mills,
Yes?
Jewell,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Dotson,
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Next item we have is update the A&P bylaws.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Draft I have of the
Thank you.
bylaws. They have to be presented in writing at the regular meeting and passed at the next meeting. The yellow highlighted is the additions. If it's been marked through, that's obviously a proposed deletion. And then the red, there's only one red portion, and I honestly can't remember, and I do not have a copy of that section that we may have amended in this past year. But there was a question proposed to the city 2 weeks ago, maybe a little longer, about how we define prepared food and thereby how we tax that. The statute says it should be in the levying ordinance or bylaws, so I proposed this language that is consistent with the broader tax law of the state of Arkansas. But I think we need to have a prepared food definition. And I know we've got some questions in the past that we've just tried to make the best of, but I think this would answer a lot of those questions. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I don't have any questions on that part.
All right, the next amendment would be,
Can I have one question?
yes, ma'am.
Would this then apply to convenience stores?
Food that is sold in a form that is ready to eat without additional preparation by the purchaser, it would.
And I'm all for that, it would bring more taxes in.
Yeah. Well, and I've looked at other definitions of prepared food for other A&P commissions, and these are all consistent with that.
What was your question again?
I said, wouldn't this apply to convenience stores?
If they have like a hot box. and
Not
they're
just
serving-
restaurants and hotels?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that broaden the A&P reach for that tax?
If you sell a hot dog,
And they all do, and we have several of those on the Arkansas side. So if we adopt this, are we then going to try to get a tax from
you'd have to.
We do receive taxes from.
Easy Mart?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I've gotten a call from, and I can't remember, it's been a year or two, that he got a notice for not paying his tax, and, it was the commission's position that he owed it, and we went to this back and forth, and this would kind of let everybody know that if they need to start withholding tax and
So we
and paying
currently
it.
do that? We currently tax all convenience stores in Texarkana, Arkansas?
Well, for prepared food,
For prepared
Yes.
food?
yes. This puts it in the bylaws,
Okay.
so.
I didn't know we currently did that.
Yeah. The next amendment is Article 2, Section 5. I know from the last meeting, so this says, "A majority of the total membership of the commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. When a quorum is present, any bylaw, ordinance, resolution, motion, and other measure shall be adopted upon affirmative vote of a majority of the members present and voting, unless a greater vote is specifically required by law or these bylaws." So, if you've got four people to hold a meeting, that's a quorum for this commission. You would then only need, under the previous bylaws, you would need a unanimous. All four of those would need to vote in the affirmative to pass any resolution, bylaw, or motion. This, if you had four, it would only take three.
Right.
So
Okay.
that is that portion. Does anybody have a question on that?
No, I'm
Well-
okay with that.
For what purpose are we doing that? I mean, that,
Well, I tell you what I think it is, and it's the commission's wish, that we had a quorum and a vote failed because only one person wanted, you probably know what I'm talking about, one person failed. So, good and bad with it.
well, I can,
Be careful what you wish for kind of thing.
well, I can only see the bad, because if three people can vote to get a resolution or an ordinance passed,
Mhm.
when actually the other four were opposed, that seems to be
Makes it weaker.
unethical, and that should not be. I mean, I'd always have the opinion that if you had a quorum of four, then you could conduct business. But if you're gonna pass an ordinance, resolution, or whatever, then it's gonna take the four people to vote before you're gonna pass an ordinance or resolution. If anybody, didn't agree, then.
Well, I think this came, go ahead.
And with that being said, by emphasizing that it's a quorum of four, and with Robert Rules of Order, that the majority rule, if three vote yes and one vote no, that it still would pass. Instead of, okay, it's a quorum of 4 out of the 7, one vote no, and the other 3 says yes, and it fails.
Well, normally, it would be a majority of the whole of the council, not just those present. That's normally,
Okay, I understand.
normally. So if you had 4 people here, which admittedly, not a lot of times do only 4 show up. So, I mean, there's,
This is, to me, that's when you could, if you were up to something no good, that presents the opportunity to do no good.
well, and, I mean, that's a good point. If 4, you shouldn't do this for violation of FOIA, but if in some alternate dimension, and the Texarkana Arkansas A&P commissioner, one commissioner got 3 other people to say, or no, got 2 other people to say, hey, these 3 are out of town, we can get a quorum, and then pass a vote with
Exactly.
only 3 votes, where normally it would take 4.
Yes.
You know, there's, like I said, there's good and bad. It's up to y'all. Y'all are the sole arbiter of the procedures that y'all operate under, and
You're saying good and bad, I only see the bad. On the city board, this is not allowed, you gotta have 4 votes.
Right.
And
I
don't
think they're
see-
trying to prevent what happened to me.
Well, does this prevent it?
I don't know.
I think this only allows it.
Well, let me
But it
be,
was already allowed.
well, let me be
Well,
clear.
it shouldn't have been allowed. It was done. He didn't follow the rules when he did that.
Well-
At the same incident.
well,
Technically, it did.
I believe technically he did. Now, of course, whether he should have or not, I'm with you on that. But anytime you amend or think as procedure, you're going to make things easier or better. There's going to come a time, y'all may not even be on the board, that somebody can use that to do something maybe they wouldn't have done sooner. I mean, I think what happened before is rare to happen. It obviously happened, but, I mean,
I got a brief question.
it's up to y'all.
Just to be clear, the way this is written right now, we have a quorum, and that quorum only consists of 4. And we have a vote of 3 says yes, 1 says no. The majority rule is carried forth, right?
Yes,
That's the way this is written now.
yes, proposed, yes.
Yes. Just want to make sure that's the way
Yeah.
we're leaning more of the Robert Rules of Order. Yes.
Previously, it was not written in this term.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, it wasn't written previously, but as we want to operate more into Robert Rules of Order and going into the majority rule, that's the way it's written now. I think that would,
And it'd be the majority of only those present and voting.
right.
I just can't agree with you on that. I don't think, it shouldn't be where 3 people can dictate anything.
Well,
And that's what we're allowing.
because right now, if you don't agree with that, what you're saying, you want to allow 1 person to dictate for a body of 4.
No, you can't. It should have,
It did.
in my view, there should have been, nothing should have happened without the agreement of those 4 people, the way I interpret it. He should never have been allowed to do anything without the consensus of all 4, even if there was only 4 present.
Well, it wasn't. There wasn't a positive, it wasn't an affirmative motion. I'm trying to think about what happened.
I don't really understand it.
I think he even made the motion
He made the
to
motion.
reappoint. Everybody voted in the affirmative, and he voted negative, so she wasn't reappointed.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it wasn't a, well,
It was gonna take all 4 votes, positive, well, all 4 affirmative
Yeah.
votes
Yeah.
for it to pass, and when there were 3 positive votes and 1 against vote, it did not pass.
so, but his point, he does have a point in that, it's
He-
the
but-
majority of the whole, not of the majority of those present, which is the way it operates now.
In my view, his motion should have been to make a motion to reappoint someone or whatever to fill the position of whomever.
He did.
Motion
He did.
to that-
He didn't
okay.
vote for his own motion.
Then he makes another motion that Danny Jewell gets appointed to that position. And a second motion ensues. And it would take the vote of all 4 to approve me.
Right, but in that situation, she's still not reappointed,
Which.
and you aren't either. But if this was the bylaw at that point, you would have been reappointed. I think that's her point.
Well, but she remains there because her successor had never been reappointed.
The successor was the chairperson that I had already gone through a reelection.
Well, she was already on the board.
Yeah, she was already
She's
on
on,
the
she
board.
remains there until her successor is qualified.
Let's go back one step further that would have made all this null and void, is because it wasn't on the agenda, and at that time, it was an emergency it was an emergency to even make that happen, to even just put that on the agenda without,
Well,
because let's think about it. This person was just saying, okay, I'm gonna fill in because the chair here is not here, the vice is not here.
Right.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna add this to the agenda and make a motion. You know,
well, and to that point, and I've got a section on that in here too, to that point, we operate, we have a pretty liberal practice of amending agenda items and people speaking and things like that. And certainly, if I knew what was going to happen, I wouldn't have allowed it. He made a motion, his own motion, I think,
Yes.
that I can't remember the last time somebody made a motion and then didn't vote for it.
and keep in mind that,
That happens quite often.
Jewel,
Well-
keep in mind
Well-
that those of us that are on the city board, that would never happen because of our bylaws. That, it's not on the agenda that we add something to the agenda and then make the motion ourselves.
Well, we can add it to the agenda.
Not during the meeting to just add something to the meeting and make a motion on it.
Yeah, our bylaws allow it.
Yeah,
That's
that's something we just don't do.
Well, so y'all can vote, I mean, y'all can vote to amend the bylaws, y'all can vote to do anything you want to as far as procedures. That doesn't conflict with state law. But, and y'all can vote to amend to the majority of members present and voting, y'all can vote
Yes.
to amend the majority of the members present, y'all can vote to keep it as it is, the majority of the whole.
I think it should remain the same. That was, in my view, it was done improperly. Meredith should never, she was a commissioner until her position was, someone was reappointed in her position by the city board, not by this commission. This commission has no authority to appoint anybody. We don't have to accept y'all's recommendation. We make, until the city board appointed her replacement, she remained a commissioner. And she was a commissioner that night, so it was all done improperly. And so I think 4 votes should be a minimum on anything, other than routine stuff where the majority can do as far as, minor stuff.
Danny, I'm tracking what you're saying, but I think we're trying to go the same direction, but I think you're going a different.
But you're gonna, if you
Different
go to
lane.
3,
Yeah.
follow me, if we go to 3, I can get anybody ousted easier by 3 votes than 4.
But Danny, what the reality is, what we're trying to correct here is we have 4 present, and 3 of that 4 said, yes, I want her to remain as the VP. And then we had 1 that said no, and that's the same person that made the motion. And so that's why we asked for amendment to just go with majority rule.
Well, I
Instead of
understand,
just going with 1 person, and now,
but it was all done wrong. Y'all had no, this body has no authority to remove anybody.
hey, keep in mind, this body does have the right to vote. But then after that, it goes for command authority to the city board to make it final. And the city board decides if that person is going to be on the board or off the board. And so that procedure hasn't changed.
That was
If-
step 1.
If it would have required 4 votes to remove her, and he voted no, or to reappoint, then nothing would have happened, right?
Well, no, same thing. If it would have been majority rule, and what we actually had happen is 3 votes said yes for her to stay, and his 1 vote said no, and that created the rabbit hole that we went down.
Understand?
And
But
that's,
but if the requirement was 4 had to vote one way or the other, and you didn't have that vote, then nothing happened, so it reverted back to where it was. which was her still being in her
So
place.
you're saying 4 yeas or 4 nays?
Yes,
Not just 4 votes, 4 people have to say yes?
Yes.
4 people
Just,
have to say
just like
no?
it is now.
yes, just like it is now.
And that's
A
why,
majority of the
He-
whole
he-
number of the
being
council.
he deviated from,
So he's saying the majority of the whole versus the majority of
Yes.
the present.
Correct.
when he deviated from, when he made his, when he voted nay, he threw the whole thing out. He messed
Exactly.
everything up. It just goes back to reverse to backward to step one.
exactly, and that's why we have re-amended this, so we can go with majority rule, so we don't go down
Then-
that same.
But then you would allow it to, it will be okay then.
Well, at the end of the day, what's gonna happen, we're gonna get a chance to vote on this amendment, because, each person will get a chance to use their constitutional right here in the commission to say yea or nay for this amendment. But just want to make sure that you understand that with the 4 that we have present, and with that current rule, one person, one no vote, made the voting the way it was, that she could not stay. And so, and we feel like going with the majority rule, should trump everything that, that other avenues or what have you.
So if it would have been the majority of the council versus the majority present, what happened would not have passed? If it would have been the majority of.
Yes, yes, that's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking
Yeah.
through something.
For our ordinance and resolutions, even at the city board, is majority. It's, when it's 5-2, 6-1, it's the majority, or 4-3, it's the majority.
But it has to be,
Then you only have
But that's
4
up-
present.
But these amendments are all up to y'all.
Yeah.
I've got some more. Section 8 on Article 2 is a suspension of the rules. Any provision of these bylaws or the rules of procedure of the commission may be suspended by a 2/3 vote of the members present, provided a quorum is in attendance. Such suspension shall apply only to the specific matter under consideration and shall not extend beyond the meeting at which suspension is approved. I've just got from my notes something about a suspension of rules, mainly in a city board or commission or committee. The most common reason for a suspension of the rules is to put a ordinance, reading an ordinance 3 times at the same meeting rather than 3 consecutive meetings. I can't think of a reason to suspend the rules the way our meetings are handled,
Right, yeah,
just off the top of my head.
yeah.
But I had that noted in my notes, so I wanted to put that in there.
Do we know why we did this?
I don't know.
I don't think it'd be really
And
applicable.
I had my notes are probably to blame, but I had a question mark after it, so.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be applicable to,
Yeah, like I said, I can't think of a reason why we would suspend the rules
Right.
and
we probably can take that.
other than passing a resolution or ordinance or something like that. But that would be the custom anyway.
Okay. Right. Well, thanks for highlighting that. That'd be, you bring that up, because that'd be something we can take out.
So if we're amending something, shouldn't we know why we're doing it?
For someone.
Do we know why we're amending Section 8?
Well, these are a working draft proposal, so
Do we know why?
I don't. If I put it down there, one of y'all probably
I don't-
threw it out there. And like I said, it may be nothing. Like I
Do
said, I
any of
can't
us
think of a
remember
reason to
that?
suspend the
Do you
rule.
No, I don't remember. I think, it's so much came up from, after we had those descriptions in the bylaws. We was putting a lot of stuff out there, And so we're trying to clean up a lot of this stuff.
Um,
And speaking of cleaning up, I got one or two things. Well, I'll let you finish.
And these may be, those issues may be answered. Article 4, Section 2, election and terms of office. Now, when going through this, my notes indicate that the council wanted a chairman, vice chairman, and then a chairman pro tem, which we can do. I just, when I drafted it, I just said the chairman pro tem to be elected at a meeting where the chairman or vice chairman are absent. I can put it in there where you elect every January at that regular meeting a pro tem in case the chairman or vice chairman are absent. But that'd be
Perhaps
half the council as a succession, the chain of succession. I didn't know what the.
What about if we do it a 2-year term like we do, like the officers have a 2-year term, and because once that term is up, we go through a voting process to know if the board want this person to stay or they want that person to stay, and maybe we can do that same thing for the pro temp, have a 2-year term and we re-vote, just like we re-vote for the chairman, if we want him or not, the vice chairman, if we want him or not, or the pro temp.
So instead of 2 positions, you'd create 3 and have
Yeah.
those same procedures.
Yes, and that creates us a contingency plan. And what's the odds on the chairperson being out and the vice chairperson being out? And then we have to flip a coin like, hey, which one of y'all want to come up?
Yep.
But if we have a pro temp, I would hate to think 3 of us is out.
Yeah.
The chairman, vice, and the pro temp, but having a contingency plan in place, because I think you have another contingency I see in here that that's when the board could decide. The board
You mean
could
at
decide.
a meeting where all 3 are absent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I seen you have another contingency for that.
Do you, I mean,
Yeah.
we can put it that way. That's a lot of contingencies, but
In my view, this is getting a little too complicated. I mean, I don't see anything wrong about, if the chair and vice chair is just the other 4 selecting somebody. You get up there and sit in that chair. I've done that on the city board when I was there
Sure.
back in the 90s, and, and it served well. We got the attorney sitting over and the other people help us through. So,
Sure.
I say we just stay with the chair and the vice chair. If something happens on that rare event, we just pick
You could
one
say
of
if the
4.
chair or vice chair wasn't there, nothing would be added to the agenda.
Well, because we've gone through the fire and we know we need to have this contingency in plan, I don't think we can overlook that at this time. I think if we need it, it's there. If we don't need it, we don't need it. But the contingency is in place. Attorney may be out that day. Tyler might be the only one there. With it, just having the contingencies in place, it gives us the ability to continue to move forward, and we don't have to miss a step. We can be as methodical as we can right now so we can be efficient as we're handling the business of the citizens.
Well, if that pro temp is one of the 3 people, so what happens in the rare event? We're down to 4, so chair, vice chair, and a pro temp are the 3 missing. You can
That's
come
not
up
a
with
lot.
another contingency?
And, well, he would have another contingency that's already in place
There's a lot of
right here.
contingencies. Just the one little decision would take all of that. Okay.
And so that's to prevent what we had happened before. So you did answer.
Easier way?
Huh?
Is there an easier way?
Are
I
the,
think my way is easy.
And what you're saying is 4 yays or 4 nays, the way it is.
no,
And
no,
if the vice chair and the chair's not here, we
elected
Just
pro
pick-
tem.
We just
And
decided,
that's what we did, and that's why we were where we,
well, that was done all wrong. That was,
But-
you can go by the rules.
we back to trying to prevent what happened in the past with, our bylaws, looking at our bylaws and having this person there instead of saying, okay, in good faith, we said, you go ahead.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here. If there are only 4 people here,
Mhm.
and anything comes up, currently, if 3 out of those 4 vote yay or nay, it passes or it doesn't pass.
Right now,
Correct.
you need all 4.
You need all 4.
Yeah, because we haven't accepted the amendment.
Correct. And we can't accept those
So-
amendments
so-
until
so-
next.
Yet. Until next.
So the vote was that she be reinstated, so all 4 had to vote yes.
Well, the,
For her
the,
to be
the acting
reinstated.
chairman declared the seat vacant, and there was a motion to reappoint her, which failed.
And so all 4 were going to have to say yes. When all 4 didn't say
Correct.
yes, it failed.
Correct.
And currently, what this is saying is if this presents itself again and there are 4 people here.
Only
4.
only 3 would need to vote in the affirmative to pass any motion, bylaw, or a motion, resolution, or ordinance, or anything else.
So what Danny's saying is 3 people can swing the vote one way or another in that circumstance.
No.
Well, I wouldn't, the odds of something like that happening again are pretty minimal, but if only 4 people show up to a meeting, 3 people, depending on what time of year, 2, right? 3 people out of 7 could vote on that bond,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is it's a lot. So,
Then you have a
there's that.
non-majority of 3 versus
Yeah.
4 voting in the affirmative or negative for something
Right,
that we all have an interest in.
Right.
And all have to hang our hat on.
Exactly.
Right, and I think what we're trying to get to the point is going with the majority that wants that motion to go that way, that the minority is not, the power don't shift to the minority, it shifts to the majority.
Well, but the minority is going to rule in this way.
Well, the current way,
You got 3 affirmatives, and you don't know what the other 4 is going to vote.
well, if that 4th vote is the minority that says no, and you have 3 that's in majority says yes, and we say, okay, currently as it is written, that minority that says no, that 1 vote just killed the,
I can
If-
see that.
if
that
every-
one- That one incident, but that one is, again, I go back to the technicality of the law. This board cannot appoint anybody. You make a recommendation. His motion to reappoint Meredith was, in my view, an invalid motion because this board makes no appointment. It can make a recommendation, but it
That's
cannot-
that's what the motion was, but,
His motion was to reappoint. He cannot reappoint. He
Well-
can make a recommendation to recommend to the city board.
well, I think
for
that's
reappointment.
semantics. I think everybody knew he meant to do that.
I'm talking legalese, and so.
Okay,
He,
I got you.
his motion was to reappoint. I've seen it many times. And this
I
board
got you.
cannot appoint anybody to anything. They can only make a recommendation
Right.
to the city board.
So,
So his motion was invalid, should have been stopped, and it has no merit.
So I think Mr. Jewell is, and correct me if I'm wrong, if everybody shows up, it's a 7 people show up just like a regular meeting. And, you need 4 to pass anything. If 4 people show up, make a quorum, you would then only need 3 to pass. And I think his issue is, obviously, there's a danger in allowing three people to to do business and pass ordinances, resolutions, or actions, whereas four would normally do. But I've also got on page 5 here, Article 8, there's a fund balance reserve that I put in, and I think in the budget, there was talk about this in the budget, but this only formalizes that wish. The commission shall at all times maintain a minimum fund balance of $150,000. No expenditure, transfer, or financial commitment shall be authorized that would cause the fund balance to fall below this threshold, except in the case of a declared emergency approved by 2/3 of vote of the commission. In such an event, the commission shall adopt a plan to restore the fund balance to at least $150,000 within a reasonable period of time. This, I believe, is in hopes that, what happened in the past couple of years doesn't happen again, and we're not caught kind of, blindsided by the fund balance. If it's kind of back there, in the back of our minds, I think the commission might,
Yeah, to keep the operational
Yeah,
income
yeah.
above.
So we have the ability to do something if something comes up, but it's just gonna take 2/3 of the vote.
on the.
If we
on the-
wanted to dip into this 150, it's gonna take 2/3 of
Yes.
us to do it,
Yes,
for whatever reason that might be.
right.
And just to go back to Danny's point, what I'm hearing from Mr. Jewell is that the verbal semantics made the motion invalid. The words that he used made the words invalid, even though we know the working operation of A&P, that we do have the power to vote a person and say, okay, we don't want to reelect this person to be on this council, which then it goes to the city council and they says yay or nay. And so I think that's what I'm hearing from Danny, that the verbal semantics that was used, that it should have been null and void, that it shouldn't have went forward. Because that's a separate issue from where we at, where we talking about, implementing a majority rule. Because it is, just to make sure I understand that I'm clear,
But we make a recommendation to the board, right? I mean,
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
right.
Yes.
Okay, I think it was the recommendation.
Yeah, but I think what Danny was saying is the prior member said he wanted to make a motion to remove from the board. So,
Well,
what did you say?
well, he
Reappoint.
declared the seat vacant as the acting chairman, and then made a motion to reappoint.
All right, gotcha.
And his, again,
Well,
has no authority to reappoint.
could we do something, since there's so much back and forth on that, could we do something that some type of a decision like that can't be made without the vice chair or the chair there?
Y'all prescribed.
Wouldn't that be
yes.
simpler or more simple?
Yes, we could table it.
And say no, removal of, or recommendation
Well, we could get a
to
lot more
remove.
specific on the declaration of a vacancy and then reappointment, or appointment, or recommendations of appointment made to the board.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, yes, and again, I think that you gotta understand, the city board doesn't have to take the recommendation of this body. We can appoint anybody we wish to this commission, as long as they meet those requirements
And
of.
within the procedures of,
Yes.
Correct,
yes.
yes, it would just save
So-
someone,
So this is just strictly a recommendation.
Yeah.
The procedures that are in place now, in my view, are proper. It was just all handled wrong.
so
by
let me
somebody.
ask you this, if say we have somebody again does that, if we leave it the same, the same
yeah.
thing could happen.
Right.
And then someone would be recommended and off until, and then would have to go in front of the city board to get back on, correct?
To have done anything to you, we're taking 4 votes. 4 people would have to agree to remove you.
So what should have happened in this?
Well,
when-
no,
What?
the board can't vote, or the commission can't vote to remove. The acting chairperson
Recommendation.
declared the vacancy, and then a motion was made to reappoint her, and that failed
Well, what authority did he have to declare it vacant?
as the acting chairperson,
Where does he get that authority
the
He claimed
bylaws.
it,
He sat in
bylaws.
the chair.
Well, yeah,
Keep in mind, the chair wasn't here.
But I mean,
Vice chair wasn't
I
here.
understand, but
Right.
you mean that the chairman can declare anybody, any vacancy?
under certain circumstances.
What were those circumstances?
A term, I think her term was up.
Her term had
But-
expired.
I didn't even know my term was expired.
Yeah, but keep in mind, for me, it goes back to that, chairperson wasn't here, I wasn't here, the vice chairperson wasn't there, and we ad hoc and just, I think whoever was here ad hoc and said, hey, somebody come and sit in this seat, and then that person that sat in this seat, that item wasn't on the agenda. It wasn't on the agenda, and it should have been even, that person to create like an emergency, like as if there was some voting that really needed to happen,
Sure.
that meeting, it wasn't an emergency that they needed to take that action.
Right.
And it wasn't on the agenda for that to happen anyway. And so that was a red flag, number one, that shouldn't have happened. And then for number two, the current ordinance, working agenda that we have is that if it's 4 present, that calls it a quorum. 3 says yes, reappoint. 1 says no, don't reappoint. That person is not reappoint, but, you know,
Man,
Oh, the motion was to reappoint.
Right.
Okay, shouldn't get reappointed. There's no problem reconvening next time if somebody else comes up and makes the same motion again and she gets reappointed to that, or gets.
Absolutely.
So there was an issue that really wasn't an issue. It could have been set straight the next meeting.
Well,
Because it never went to the board.
Yes.
To confirm.
Yes.
It was a
Wait, the board never-
recommendation from us.
The board never replaced her and would not have replaced her.
Okay.
and so this is why we're putting what we have on this amendment in place to keep that from happening again.
Well, there's procedures already in place to stop, but I get where you're.
No, the procedure is not,
well, and if,
it's,
I mean, the bylaws say that present the amended bylaws at one regular meeting and pass them at the next. The
Yeah.
next one is
I
it
think
January?
April, February, January,
January.
okay.
So, we'd have to, any of these amendments, we would have to pass at the January meeting.
All right. So are you gonna have, so we'll just have the different versions of?
Yes.
And I don't know what the, you know, to present and say, okay, we have this motion, I mean, we have this, this amendment or that amendment, and so they'll be able to choose what. amendment.
What I would do is I would, I don't think anybody here would have a prepared food definition objection. I take it by the, and just from y'all's speaking, the suspension of rules should be deleted.
Yeah.
I'll, you know, the majority of the whole versus the majority of those voting and present is
Okay.
still up in the air. And then I'm going to add, keep it like it is and add a pro temp. So what I would do is we would take separate votes on each clause and pass it that way. I mean, there's
It'd be
three.
the easier way.
There'd be
to do it,
three.
To at least move forward.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be three separate votes, maybe less.
All right, just as long as we clear that I have the option to remain with the old or accept the amended
Right.
as the new.
Yeah.
And I only have one more thing.
Oh, and
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Chairman, you had three issues that
Yeah.
I might have.
One issue I have here in section 3, it says the membership, in the membership commission, if a person misses like 3 meetings, that they can be removed for like just cause.
Which page are you on?
Page 2.
Section.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
Article
I was
1.
just want to kind of define, without just cause, we need to say cause of medical, or
I would-
how we need to do that.
I would think, well, yeah,
Because,
Someone has surgery or.
right, I guess, most people are like last 3 or 4 weeks, my son been sick, having medical stuff. I've been at Arkansas Children's Hospital. If this meeting had failed like last week, that would have been another, well, it would fail, it would have failed under that term, I'd have missed. But just cause, and I don't think.
as it's written right now, I think just cause would be in that determination made by the chairman,
Okay.
as it's written right now.
Right. And so just ethically speaking, just giving common sense judgment, I guess, of the board, a person sick or a funeral or something like that or what have you, I guess we can, for good moral character that we have here on the board, that everyone could see what just cause would be versus say, I went dirtbag riding, I think you guys can take care of it and then don't show up. That's not just cause.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, and of course, the board can nominate. If a chairperson were to remove somebody per that section, the board, of course, would nominate whoever. If a majority of the board thought that there was not just cause in removing that chairperson, then, they could vote to renominate it for her.
Mr. Potter?
Yeah.
This seems to be in conflict with the city ordinance, where the city manager has the authority to remove any person that the city board has the appointing powers to. And as we technically appoint everybody to this commission as others, is this it not in conflict with that? I mean,
I don't believe that. I don't believe it to be in conflict, but I'd be happy to look at it.
I don't see where the conflict is. The city manager don't
I mean,
have
the-
jurisdiction. Well, nah.
I don't see where that's a conflict, but I'd be happy to look at that. Is that, do you mean the city board's powers of nomination, removal?
the city manager can remove his authority. He doesn't have to ask the city board. He can remove anybody. He can come in here and remove anybody that sits on this board, airport board, any board, at any time.
Well,
And
I don't-
these, I'm just wondering if these,
thinking out loud, I don't think he has that sole authority. He has that authority,
that the commission.
but the commission
This could be
can
in
set
addition.
procedures as long as those procedures don't conflict. Now, if there was a provision that said, hey, by a majority vote of the council, you can override the city manager's removal, I think that would be in
So
conflict.
you're saying these in addition to?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Yes.
All right, I'll go along with that.
And was there anything else, Chairman Brewer?
I think you covered that other section too, the officers hold until the successor. And I think it was very clear when that 2-year term is up, that person wanted to remain, he would have to be voted in through the council, chair, vice chair, pro temp, I think that was very clear. You already got that one. And the other one I had was absent of the chairperson, pro temp. Well, yeah, I see you covered that one as well. And the first one up here, the duties commission, theme parks and other film. I thought I seen a duplicate sentence in section 2 on the duties commission. Otherwise pertain to expenses correction. Revenue, return bond. Thought that revenue such as percentage to the club. Okay. Express regular term otherwise, a vacant commission in official form. Notice the vacancy for United States. No, I may have been reading too fast. Section 2 does look.
I understand.
Yeah.
Just an additional point, I believe Lisa Vandergraff resigned in September. I was shown an email by Tyler just a moment ago. I don't think he had gotten that.
Oh, really? We have a vacancy?
We do.
Yes, well, you need to declare a vacancy so that we can run that
Advertising.
ad and make a nomination to the full board.
All right, at this time, I want to declare a vacancy on the A&P Commission, and I want to make a no, I'm not going to make the nomination.
We just run.
I'm just going to declare the vacancy.
Yep.
And if anyone else want to make, I'm going to declare a vacancy on the A&P Commission that we have one vacancy that's declared today. Is there a motion?
That doesn't need to be,
They don't have to be.
that's it. And what we'll do now is run that notice and.
Okay.
And do we dictate what it has to, as far as a member of?
It has to be a hotel and
Hotel.
restaurant.
Yeah, it's be,
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah, her
those
position.
hotel, restaurant positions.
right.
And also mail notice out to hotels and restaurants for the bylaws.
Okay.
But-
Great. Hey, thanks for that reminder, and, yeah, thanks for that reminder.
And I would have told you earlier, but I just read something and it triggered that thing. But Tyler, or somebody did get an email, Tyler. Yeah.
Thank, that was perfect timing, because I was tracking on a whole lot of this stuff. anyways. All right, the next item we have is delinquent A&P taxes. This is the last item we have on the agenda. If you will, at your package, you'll see delinquent hotels and motels. There's no action for this, but I just need for everyone to kind of see. And as we're still in the process of developing contingencies to encourage the businesses that are collecting these taxes to turn them over. And I think we already have 2 or 3 items in works to try to get this fixed.
What are some of those items? Can we, how are we going to address those, getting those?
Well, we had talked about, we'd asked if we could do like a business license and then withdraw that business license, but we haven't done that yet. I mean, it's not up to us.
Certificate of occupancy or something?
Yeah, like a nominal fee for a business license. There's been pushback in the board before about having businesses paid to have a license. I believe for the fear of being, looked upon as being anti-business, and it really hasn't been addressed since.
Most cities do that. I know Hot Springs does, but and it's a nominal fee, like you say, $50, $100. But
Yeah.
it's withdrawn or whatever you want to call it if you violate said rules, whatever.
Right, and I believe Tyler was working on that issue, that that agenda as well.
The more teeth you got, the better,
Right.
generally.
And I think also you was working on another agenda by sending letters out, encouraging them, I think it was 2 or 3 different avenues we was looking at to try to close the gap on these delinquent taxes, because we got business owners that's faithfully doing what we asked them to do. If you're collecting it, turn it over, All right, are there any more questions or concern for A&P taxes? Attorney Potter, you have anything else? If nothing else, that concludes the agenda. Is there a motion for adjournment?
A motion for adjournment.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Roll call, please.
Mills,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Dodson,
Yes.
Brewer.
Yes.
I should have said no.